Hi again. Welcome back for part two. Okay, so let's switch things up a little bit. I will leave the same letters, but let's play with some layers and see what we can get going here with some layers and some color. First thing I want to do is put the background compressed image back into my layer form. So I'm going to say Edit, Step Backwards, and notice I have my three layers back with a background and the C and the B layer. The next thing is to change the mode to color. Oh good, it is in color. I thought I opened it as a grayscale, but that was the other file. So it's in color. So just click on the type tool, and with the C layer, I'm going to click on this little color box here and choose a couple of colors in here. So let's take that blue, okay, and the reason it came out a funny color like that is because I still have my blend modes in force. So I'll leave it for now. And for this one, let's see about something similar but a little different in here. Okay, and as long as I'm at it, why don't we take a spin through the various blend modes again and just see how the two letter forms are interacting. Okay, so I have this purplish color and this blue here, and there's multiply. That's pretty good. I want to see both letter forms hard light, linear light, that's difference, and exclusion. Okay, we'll go for difference right now. And okay, on the background, why don't we put a gradient in there? And what I need is I can default to black and white, and hiding underneath the paint bucket tool in Photoshop is the gradient tool, and it's probably elsewhere in Elements, but you still have a gradient tool. And what I'm going to choose up here for gradient is a normal blend from black to white, and I'll choose this second button in, which makes a radial or round gradient, and I'm going to click towards the center and drag out to a corner. And that's interesting because the C letter is blending down into the background, and I have this gradient that's circular that goes from white in the center to black at the edge. As long as I'm at it, I could take that B layer and blend it with that background too then, and just see what happens. That's exclusion and difference. That's pretty crazy. I like it enough to keep it. So notice how the gradient is coming through the background. So this is this lesson that I want to show you, is that we want to create a bunch of variations and save them quickly. So the first thing I'm going to do, I don't necessarily have to flatten this, because if I save it as a JPEG, it's going to flatten it for me also. So File, Save As, and instead of Photoshop PSD format, which would be huge and we couldn't post it to the blog, I'm going to choose JPEG again, and here's JPEG. And two-letter design number 1, I'm going to call it 2, and save it, and save it about at a 10. Excellent. Notice it's flattened into one background, and then it unflattened it. So that was a variation. Great. So what other variations can I do? Okay, so what I just did was I went into Filter, and I'm looking at Artistic, And here's something called colored pencil, and we have all these other things. And there are also sketch filters with charcoal and bas relief. These are a lot of fun. Stylize, solarize, etc. We can start out very simple. And it's asking me, because it's a type layer and that's a vector, and that's what that means is it's not been rasterized or bitmapped yet. It's asking me, can we do that? And I'll say OK to that. And now it'll go ahead and apply the filter. And it opens a filter dialog box, and it's asking what the pencil width should be, and what the stroke pressure should be, and how bright the paper should be. And it should preview here, but I'm just going to hit OK and see what happens as it applies it. Well, you never know what's going to happen with this. So if you don't like something, although that's not a bad, I kind of like the gray B here. So if it grabs you and you like it, go ahead and save it as a variation. File, save as, and add a new number to it, number 3. Make sure you JPEG it, okay, and save it. So let me cancel that. Sorry about that. Okay, and I can undo. If something I don't like, I can step backwards and try a different filter. Another thing I can do is just rasterize these right off the bat, so I can play with them. So I can say layer, rasterize, type, and that'll change it to a picture rather than a vector. Layer, rasterize, type. So I went to the other layer, so both layers are now converted. And try a couple of other filters. Artistic, neon glow is pretty crazy. See if my computer has the memory to do this. And I've got a lot of applications open right now. And again, because of the blend modes, it could be that what it does to it isn't going to be that exciting until you maybe don't blend it, or in other words, there's about 10,000 things you could try here, and I want you to play with this as much as you can. I want you to have fun. I want you to explore. I want you to think about just messing around with 2 letters like this. One kind of rule is fill the frame. I have all 4 sides of the frame with letter forms touching, and try some fancy letters, some script letters, etc., but don't be afraid of these bold letters also. I think the bold letters are kind of important here. And that's about it. 8 minutes on this video, and we'll see you in the classroom.